Well, hi there. You're watching and or listening to Podcast is Broken, a weekly podcast in which we try to make Canadian news and politics a little bit more funner. My name is Brittlestar.
My name is Lisa, and this week we're making it bootsless.
Oh.
Ooh.
It's your turn, guest.
Oh, hi. I'm Amber Mack, and I'm super excited to be here. I have no idea what we're doing, and that's kind of what I expected, to be honest with you.
It's funny because Amber's here because Steve is not. Steve's out camping in the wilds of, I don't know, is he in Alberta or is he in Saskatchewan?
Oh, I don't think he'd come to Alberta. He's probably
I don't know what he gets up to.
Right?
Or Manitoba?
It's on fire. I don't know if he's going there.
Yeah, probably not exactly. But yeah, Amber's filling in for Steve. And so if you're tuned in for Steve, you're in luck because he's not here. Listen, we have to keep him in his place. That's the main thing. The first thing Steve said.
I don't know if I'm qualified for this, by the way.
I think you're more than qualified. The first thing that Steve said to me when I told him that you were going to be filling in for him is he said, did you have to get someone so much cooler than me? And I agree. So that's good. This could be, we set the bar high.
Sweet.
And yeah, I don't think Steve's going to come back for it. This week you guys are good, both fine. You're out in PEI, Amber. Is that right?
Yeah. So we are out in PEI for a few weeks and hanging out with my family. My son's here, who you know, of course, Stuart, who's 16, and he just got a job here at a restaurant.
Oh my God.
And he is washing dishes. Yes. And his cousins are also here, and they're all staying with us, and they all got jobs at restaurants. One at the same one as him, another one really close by, and they're just having the summer of a lifetime. So I love to kind of pull him out of that downtown Toronto scene and get him out here and doing some manual labor.
It's a beautiful, beautiful PEI. Did you ever work at a restaurant before, either of you, when you were a kid?
No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah,
Never?
I did.
Oh, you did. You didn't, Lisa, but Amber, you did?
I worked at the Olive Garden when I was probably 18 as a hostess, and then I worked as a waitress in Charlottetown, PEI for a couple of summers while I was in university, and that was grueling work, so I have mad respect for anyone who works in a restaurant.
Oh, yeah. I worked briefly in a restaurant when I was 14 for 2 weeks, and I flooded the kitchen, broke 32 ketchup bottles and 7 teapots, and covered a booth of 4 people in cigarette ash. And I went into the owner's office after flooding the kitchen. I went into the owner's office and I said, I'm going to resign and I promise I'll never work in another restaurant again. And he went, that's probably for the best. And that was the last time I ever worked in a restaurant. That was it. Yeah.
It's really good that you're your own boss.
It is.
Right?
It is. Yeah. I can't be fired.
Right.
And yeah.
Not a whole lot of resume.
I have broken way more than 32 ketchup bottles as my own boss.
Oh,
so.
I bet.
Yeah. It seems like you being in a room, not moving, and just having a microphone is a good idea.
I think he's restrained. Exactly.
Nobody around you.
It's a good idea.
Yeah.
It's a good idea.
Yeah.
Well, listen, we're going to play a little bit of a game here called Make It Make Sense. And we've been doing this for the past couple episodes and people seem to enjoy it.
Good.
I think.
Good.
Yeah, it's good. And it's fun. It's certainly been fun for us. Have you enjoyed it, Lisa?
Are they telling us they enjoy it? Because I enjoy it. I think it's a good time. But
yeah, I think I've heard a couple of comments from people say that they like it, which is good.
Good.
Yeah. It sort of takes the news and makes it a bit slightly, less painful. What happens, Amber, and for those of you who are just listening and watching, is that I will announce a headline. We'll show you a headline. This headline is comprised of 3 different news stories, and it's up to you and Lisa to determine what those 3 news stories are. You will each get points accordingly based on a non-existent methodology.
Exactly.
So it'll be Lisa versus Amber. And this is pretty important, Amber. So if you've got a game face, this is the time to put it on.
Oh my God. Okay, I have 2 questions. Are we allowed to ask questions?
Yeah, you can ask questions.
Okay. So my first question is, are you going to read the headlines or just show them to us because my monitor is too far away for me to read it?
Well, they'll be both. For the benefit of those playing at home, you'll see it on screen. And because we're trying something new this week, and Lisa hasn't seen this either yet, but it's going to be a newspaper headline.
Oh.
And you're gonna see the newspaper headline, but I will also read it and I can read it again at any point in time.
Oh, okay.
Did the broadcasters try to unionize and we got rid of them? Is that what happened?
Exactly. Someone was passing some cards around. There was talk of union, and I shut the whole thing down. Out of here, robots.
Oh,
So yeah, you can ask questions and you'll get points accordingly. Accordingly, meaning whenever I want to give points, essentially will happen.
Okay, and I can use a pen and paper, but nothing else.
Well, I mean, we haven't really tested the laws of what the game are. I mean, could you phone a
Depends on
friend?
how competitive you want to be. I mean, we can ask for hints, like
Yeah.
if we're
Oh.
stumped.
Yeah. There's multiple choice questions if you need hints.
Yeah, Stuart says it's 3 headlines. I sometimes feel like it's 6, but whatever.
I have confirmed
Okay.
that this week is 3 headlines per headline.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, 3 news stories per headline. Are we ready for headline number 1? Are you guys ready to go?
Let's do it.
All right, this is so exciting. Lunar clock ticks as mortgages fund Northern Ontario tourism. I'll read that again. The headline is Lunar clock ticks as mortgages fund Northern Ontario tourism. What are the 3 news stories that headline is comprised of?
Okay.
Well, Northern Ontario tourism, is that about the new train that's going north that the Ford government announced?
Let's find out if you're correct on that. Not specifically, so I'm not going to give you a point for that. Exactly.
Boo.
Is it a push for just northern tourism, like for the U.S. people to come up to
No, I'm going to take a
Oh.
point away from you, Lisa,
Nope.
for that.
from last week? You're going to take a point away from last week? Okay.
Exactly.
Okay, can you read it one more time?
Sure thing. The headline again is Lunar clock ticks as mortgages fund Northern Ontario tourism. And if you guys want some multiple choice questions, feel free.
Is it about the news that mortgages are going to increase across Canada?
I'm going to give Amber a point for that. Yes, it's exactly it. According to CTV News, a new
just
Bank of
announced,
Canada
yeah.
report projects that around 60% of outstanding Canadian mortgages are set to renew in 2025 and 2026, leading to higher payments for most. Homeowners with 5-year fixed rate mortgages are expected to see the most significant increases, averaging between 15 and 20% in their monthly payments, which is a lot of money.
Ouch.
A ratehub.ca study cited within the news indicates that homeowners renewing a 5-year fixed mortgage at 1.89% in July 2020 could see their monthly payments jump by $424 or $5,088 annually. That's a lot of money. That's
Wow.
not good, but you do get a point though. So people suffer, but you get a point, Amber. That's good.
I'm sorry about the news, but thank you for the point.
There you go.
Yes. So that is correct. You figured out the mortgages fund part of the headline. There's still 2 news stories connected to the headline. The headline again is Lunar clock ticks as mortgages fund Northern Ontario tourism.
I would like a multiple choice for the lunar clock, please.
That's the politest you've ever spoken to me.
We got a guest. I have to be nice.
Exactly. Everyone's taking their shoes off. No one's allowed to sit. We're allowed to sit in the nice chairs. We can use the fancy soaps in the bathroom now that Amber's here. It's all exciting.
But not the towels. Okay, go ahead.
Exactly. Lunar clock ticks refers to A, the sound generated by lunar seismic activity. B, scientists developing a standardized time system for the moon. Or C, the impending launch of a new lunar mission.
I would say
A.
C.
I said
Amber
A.
says C, and you say A.
Yeah.
You're both wrong. Neither of you get a point.
Damn it.
Scientists developing a standardized time system for the moon, if you can believe it. UN's actively involved in discussions to establish a coordinated lunar time, crucial for international cooperation on the moon. A lunar clock ticks slightly faster than an Earth clock,
Oh.
specifically by about 56 microseconds per Earth day due to the moon's weaker gravitational field. The International Committee on Global Navigation Satellite Systems, ICG, of course, to you and me. We're always referring to that. Talk about the ICG. Formed a working group in 2024 to focus on standardizing lunar positioning, navigation, and timing. The initiative aims for a, quote, reliable, traceable to Earth-based time and usable by everyone, common lunar time standard for future space missions, which seems silly at first, but it's a really good idea when you think about it. You can't have people showing up at the same time in the same place all the time. You know what I mean? What if you have like China and Russia going at the same time?
But wouldn't we take care of that on Earth?
What if they're just out for a drive?
Just, a lazy Sunday and just like,
Yeah,
hey.
just flying around in orbit. They're like, do you want to go to the moon? All right, let's go. Should we check back at home? No, let's just go. Let's go. I think it's a good idea.
Okay.
That's all you have.
Okay.
No
Okay.
interest
So
in
what
it.
about Northern Ontario tourism? Do we get a hint on that one?
You can have a multiple choice on that one. The score
Okay.
again still is Amber 1, Lisa. Let's count. 0.
So mean.
Oh, I'll get
Northern
him.
Ontario.
Don't you worry.
Northern Ontario tourism refers to A, a Government of Canada investment for over $4.5 million to enhance the region's tourism sector. B, a new federal tax on wilderness activities in Northern Ontario. Or C, a proposal to designate Northern Ontario as a national park.
A.
Lisa gets a point. That's right. It's exactly correct.
Ah.
Very good. Let's just see if I can give you the information on this. According to the Government of Canada, announced over $4.5 million in funding for 22 tourism projects across Northern Ontario. The investment delivered through FedNor's Northern Ontario Development Program and Tourism Relief Fund aims to boost local economies and enhance visitor experiences. The Honorable Patty Haidu. It's Haidu, is it? Am I pronouncing that right?
I think so.
I think so, right? The Honorable Patty Haidu, Minister of Jobs and Families and a minister responsible for FedNor, stated the funding would, quote, enhance tourism infrastructure and experiences. Specific projects include a $976,852 non-repayable investment for Lake of the Woods Brewing Company to support a new manufacturing facility and establish a brewer's village.
Ooh.
That'll be somewhere to take the kids.
I knew there'd have to be beer in there if it's Ontario. That makes a lot of sense.
Lisa, you've never been to like anything Northern Ontario, but I mean, Amber, you've gone to Sudbury. I know that.
Yeah.
How do you know
Yeah,
I've never
I
been to
think.
Northern Ontario?
I don't know. I'm just guessing. I'm just judging by the way you act.
You don't. Anyway.
Yeah, I've done Thunder Bay, Sudbury. Been to Sudbury a few times. Been down in a mine in Sudbury. So yeah, I mean, it's amazing part of our country. Although I still like the train answer because there is going to be a new train that goes up
Yeah, but that's
north.
not the answer
maybe
I was
that
looking
far.
for, though, Amber.
But
So
it
I know,
stop.
is
Stuart.
an
I'm
answer.
just
taking
saying.
half a point
I
away
should
from
get
Amber
a
for
half point.
pandering.
Come on.
We're down to 0.5.
And just for Amber's, like when we're doing the multiple choice, you got to snipe.
Yeah.
You got to snipe in
You
there.
got to snipe.
Yeah.
You do got to snipe. You
Oh, you don't wait till they're all
Oh,
said?
we're not polite. No. Well, I mean, you can if you want to wait and see
Okay.
what the answer is. But like, I like
Yeah.
to snipe, so I don't want you to be polite.
Yeah, I was just waiting for you to lose points. I was hoping that was my
how
strategy.
we're doing it.
Wait for it,
Eh?
Amber.
Okay.
That's nice.
Don't
That's
make
nice.
me miss boots. Don't make me miss boots.
It would take a lot.
It would take a lot.
It would
That's
take
my
a lot.
He
strategy.
gets really
Just-
mad though when he gets it wrong, so it is kind of
He
fun.
does.
Aw.
Steve is quite competitive.
Okay.
So I wanted to ask, I was going to ask about the mining thing as well. Because I remember Amber, you'd gone down in the mine, just the once you've gone down though, correct?
Yeah, I mean, it's quite an ordeal to go down into a mine underground.
how
'cause
far down
there's
is it?
A whole morning. We were 1.5 kilometers deep.
Good Lord.
So, yeah, pretty significant. The ride down is pretty intense because you're actually in an elevator and there's like a larger elevator, but that one wasn't working. So we were in a very small elevator and there was maybe 15 of us that went down, recorded a podcast, which your amazing son, Owen, actually helped to produce. So kudos to him. And we recorded an entire episode down there. So Chris, my husband, was doing all the video and audio. It's called This Is Mining the Podcast. And actually, we're just about to do a 5th season. But it was kind of interesting. It was an amazing experience. It's super, super clean and modern and spacious. But my husband and I were both down there and we looked at each other and we thought, oh, well, maybe we shouldn't both be down here in case something goes wrong. Because,
in case.
you know, we should have thought that beforehand. But you go through a whole morning of safety procedures. So it's quite incredible, I have to say. And you carry around like your own little like oxygen kit, for lack of a more technical term, in case there's an issue with any type of fire. You go through a morning of training. I mean, you're carrying so much stuff. It's quite an experience.
How long is the elevator ride back out?
I want to say that it was probably 15 minutes, if
Oh,
I'm remembering,
God.
15, 20 minutes. Yeah.
I don't know if I could do that.
No, thank you.
I don't think
Yeah,
I'm
you know,
claustrophobic, but I think that just the amount of time you'd be going down and be like, oh, this is not good. What if I have to get out of here?
Yeah, I felt pretty safe. I mean, here's the thing is once you get down there, again, I mean, it's like a city underground, right? You know, there's vehicles, there's equipment, it's very clean, like I said, and you do feel very safe. I think it was one of those things, I was probably the most nervous of anyone in the elevator, but when I get nervous, I just kind of laugh and try to make bad jokes. So I just sort of did
You're
that
nervous
the whole
all
way
the
down.
time?
And then Yeah, I feel like it's people have nervous
Thanks, Lisa.
energy where they stop talking, right? And
Right.
and I have nervous energy where I talk more. So in broadcasting, that actually works better.
Exactly. You're trained to do so. That's good. That's good.
Yes, yes.
Lisa, have you been to Northern Ontario? Because
I
you were
have.
quite offended.
Well, you make it sound like I've never left Alberta. I've been places. You don't need to know where I've been.
This is what I was concerned about as I was going to get into this conversation with you. You're going to be very secretive about it.
I haven't been down a mine though. That's
But you've been like to Thunder Bay, Sudbury.
yeah. I've driven that way.
I don't like how evasive she's
What about
being.
you, Stuart? It feels like you want us to ask you.
No, Amber, it's fine. Don't worry about it. Your stories are great. Yes, no, I've been to
Have you
Thunder
been to
Bay.
Northern Ontario?
Have you been
I've
in a
been to Northern
mine?
I've never been in a mine. I think I'd be too scared to go to mine because there's mines really close to here in Goderich, Ontario, salt mines who are not. I don't know if they're quite as deep as Sudbury's mines, but they go out for 2 kilometers under Lake Huron. And a friend of mine, when we were in our 20s, got an office job in the mines, the salt mines, and I remember him telling me that once a month they'd have new staff come in, because there's such a high turnover of staff for in the mine itself. And they would go down with 16 guys and they would come up almost immediately. 8 guys would come up and they'd be like, nope, can't do it. Can't do it.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Because it would be sort of the same idea where it's like the elevator wasn't that big. It took you like 10 or something minutes to get down. And then it took you 15 to get back up. And it was just too much for a lot of people. And I think that's how I would be with that entirely.
Okay.
When the idea
I
that
feel
you're
like-
underground, like
Yeah.
Yeah.
all the living is above you, right? Like
and
that's
not just living, but like Lake Huron.
well now,
is
like
above
yeah,
you,
like yeah, that's
Yeah.
mm.
which is crazy.
I feel like you should go, Stuart. I really feel like you should experience it.
I've been invited to go.
Let's do
Last
a
summer we were
live.
invited, but I couldn't.
Just put a camera on you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just one of those cameras that faces down towards my face and can watch the blood drain from my face and then watch me look more and more nauseous as time goes on and panicky and sweaty.
No,
Maybe
you'll be
someday.
fine.
Maybe someday. I think I'd like to do it because Shannon says she would do it, no problem. She said she'd be fine doing it. I don't know if that's true or not, but again, maybe we should split
Yeah.
up.
But
for the
again,
sake of the
I
kids.
don't think you should do it together. Right?
Yeah.
Just
We'll
Yeah.
do separate trips.
Yes.
That's probably a
Smart.
good idea. Exactly.
Smart.
Just show up on our own.
Yes.
just going for a Sunday drive to the mines.
Okay, so I just got a message from Owen, and he said to give you a half a point for mentioning how great he was. So you're back up to 1 point, Amber.
Oh, that's
Um,
great.
Yeah, and
Thank you.
Well, a little bit of kindness goes a long way. And Lisa has
It's just
1 point as well, so it's tied at 1 currently.
I love that you had to think about that.
Well, I want to count it out. I want to be accurate. This game falls apart without accuracy.
high stakes.
This is high stakes games, exactly. Shall we go on to headline number 2?
Let's.
That's quite a graphic. I like that. Arsenal signs teenagers amidst declining condo sales. I'll say it to you again. Just repeat it one more time. Arsenal signs teenagers amidst declining condo sales.
Are the
There are 3 news stories in there.
Sorry. The
Okay,
condo
go
sales, are
ahead.
those the ones in Vancouver that aren't selling?
No, not specific to Vancouver, so I can't give you the point for that.
That condo sales in general aren't selling across Canada?
Nope, I'm not going to give you the point for that either.
Jerk face.
What about Toronto? Toronto condo
Yes,
sales.
Amber gets the point.
I feel like Owen
Very
has
good.
a bit of a bias with the sounds in the background. but
Owen, if
whatever.
you want to get paid, you better give me the points, Owen.
Wow, Amber's really cleaning. Amber now has 8 points.
I heard the show.
Let's see. So new condo sales in the Greater Toronto area continue to decline as developers cancel more projects, according to Urban Nation. New condo sales in Greater Toronto, Hamilton area in the second quarter of 2025 plummeted to 502 units, marking a 91% drop below the 10-year average. Developers canceled 4 projects, 719 units in the second quarter, contributing to a total of 21 canceled projects since the start of 2024. Sean Hildebrand, president of Urban Nation, stated, quote, "The market has entered a phase of the downturn that is really starting to wreak havoc, with concerns about construction starts collapsing and buyers losing money." Completed condo inventory held by developers reached a record high of 2,478 units in the second quarter, more than 5 times higher than 2 years prior. Rent is crazy in Toronto. It's also it's kind of leveled out a little bit though. I know that Owen lives with his brother Gregor, and they have a decent rent and all that kind of stuff. But I know that the rents were mental in the pandemic and just coming out of the pandemic.
Yeah, I think it's getting a little bit better. That's what I've been hearing from people at least, but it's still, I think, a little bit out of control as well. So, I can't see this. I know they're declining, but I feel like rent is sort of slow to catch up, perhaps.
I agree. What are rents like in Alberta, Lisa?
It depends. I mean, they're not great. We don't have rent caps here, right? So it's whatever
they can
whatever they want to price it at. So, I mean, for a downtown condo, you're probably 3,000 a month.
Wow, that's a lot. That's even more than Toronto.
You said
currently.
it like for Edmonton? Yeah,
for Edmonton. Do people know they're in Edmonton? No, I'm just kidding.
Sure.
Edmonton's a lovely town.
Mm-hmm.
They get to go take pictures by that neon sign wall. That's cool. You know what I'm talking about?
What neon sign wall?
You know, the neon sign wall downtown in Edmonton, right by the center, the Rogers Center.
Oh, that. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. That's a cool spot.
Yeah, I'll go down there. Real Edmonton.
That's worth $3,000 a month, isn't it?
Oh, we paid for it with our taxes. So, yeah, go take lots of pictures.
Is it really publicly owned? I didn't know that.
Well, no, it's not. It's privately owned, but we gave money because it's to bolster downtown Edmonton. There you go. See,
I'm talking about it. It worked.
There you go.
The amount of plane tickets that were just purchased right now by listeners of the podcast is broken to go to Edmonton.
I should just give you my property taxes.
I don't see a problem with that.
I don't see a problem with that.
Headline again is Arsenal signs teenagers amidst declining condo sales. We've got the declining condo sales. Now we're looking for Arsenal signs teenagers amidst.
Is it so? How is so? Those 4 words are 2 stories.
That's correct.
Are they? We don't know.
Yep.
Arsenal signs teenagers amidst
declining condo sales. Now, amidst may just be a joiner word. You don't know. Could be, you know.
I mean, just teenagers. I mean, that's not a lot of information to go.
Just in general.
Well, these are all news stories from the past 7 days. So
in Canada,
internationally, focus on Canada,
So
international as well.
The football team signed somebody that we should know about because it's very important to.
What football team?
Arsenal's.
What Arsenal team?
I don't know. A European one. I don't know what it is.
I'll give you that. I'll give you the point to Lisa.
Okay.
Yes, according to AP News, Canadian forward Olivia Smith became the most expensive player in women's soccer history after signing with Arsenal from Liverpool for a reported £1 million, or 1.34 million US, or about 1.7 in Canadian dollars. This record-breaking transfer for the 20-year-old from Whitby, Ontario, highlights the growing financial investment in women's football. Olivia signed a 4-year deal with Arsenal, a significant move for a player who was voted Liverpool's player of the season. Their previous record was set earlier this year when Chelsea paid £900,000 for Naomi Girma. Women's sports it seems stupid that it's taken so long for it to become popular. Like, it seems like they were like, no one's going to go see it. But it's like the women's NBA, women's football is really, really popular stuff these days.
Did we not see a league of their own? Like, women's sports is a big deal, right?
It took a while since that movie for sure.
Right?
But I think you're right, Stuart. I feel like it's a moment right now, I think, for women's sports, and it's amazing just to see the support finally start to roll in. I mean, it's only been thousands of years.
I know.
So that's great.
It's craziness. It's exciting to see, though. I know that the Toronto WNBA team is really popular, and the PWHL teams is really popular as well. Actually, all those teams are really popular. Except I have a problem with the who's got the terrible logo? Is it Calgary? Who just got the Calgary Flames logo? Except it's not.
I don't know.
Is it something else? Looks like an electric. It looks like a version of the Calgary Flames logo. It's too bad.
It's Calgary.
Well, thank you for weighing in on that, guys. That was great.
I feel like I should only get like half a point because I just got the I didn't
listen,
get the full context of the article, but
Oh,
I've
no,
only
don't
got-
take your points away. I think
Yeah, well,
you gave it such a good effort.
Exactly. There's one more news story moving on in this headline. The headline again is Arsenal signs teenagers amidst declining condo sales. What is the remaining third and final story in that headline?
teenagers and the difficulty they're having getting jobs.
Nope.
Boo.
Any guesses? Any guesses? Would
can
you like
we
a
get a
multiple,
multiple
choice?
choice?
Yeah, let's get a multiple
Yes,
choice. I think
I'm
it's okay.
hesitant just to start,
Okay,
mentioning stories
remember,
about
Amber,
teenagers.
be ready to snipe. Okay, here we go.
Yes.
Teenagers refers to a new government initiative to encourage youth entrepreneurship. B, the UK government's plan to lower the national voting age to 16. Or C, a study on the impact of social media on teenage mental health. All
C.
viable.
Yeah, I would have gone with C.
C.
Well, you're both wrong. You both lose a point.
No.
Oh.
Let's cut
B?
this out of here. B is correct. Yes, according to Gov UK, the British government plans to lower the voting age from 18 to 16 for all UK elections before the next general election. It aims to modernize UK democracy and deliver a, quote, key manifesto commitment, according to the Ministry of Housing, Communities and Local Government. The move will align UK-wide elections with Scotland and Wales, where 16 and 17-year-olds are already enfranchised in local and devolved elections. Democracy Minister Rushanara Ali stated that giving 16-year-olds the vote acknowledges their contributions to society through working, paying taxes, and serving in the military. How do we feel about this? Do you think, because it's been talked about here as well?
I think it makes sense. I mean, we're basically building the future that they're going to have to live in. So I think if they're 16 and they can drive and they can, at least in the UK, serve in the military, it makes sense to me that they could absolutely be able to vote. I don't think there's anything necessarily wrong with that. And in fact, it might be a good thing because it could shape elections versus letting an older population decide on the outcome of elections.
Yeah,
No, you're sorry. Go ahead, Lisa.
No, I was going to say I agree. I mean, they're voting for the future, right? So if they're voting at 16, then they're voting for what they're going to be going into adulthood to have represent them. So I think absolutely. And I don't think, 16-year-olds know necessarily any less than some of the adult voters that we have. So
yeah, I will just say, because like I mentioned, I've been hanging out in PEI with my son and his cousins who are all 16 and 17. It is kind of refreshing in terms of that generation. You hear a lot about them being addicted to their devices and not necessarily having a good work ethic. But I see the exact opposite. I see this generation who genuinely cares about people, who is very open and very progressive. And I'm talking about 3 kids from different provinces who've grown up with different backgrounds. So I find it really inspiring to think about that generation. I think they've been dealt kind of a rough hand, in fact, and don't have a good reputation. And my experience has been that I think we should give them a little bit more credit.
So why do you think they've been dealt a rough hand? Like, because I would say the pandemic was rough for any
Yes.
kid in their teens. Is that the main
Yes.
thing you're referring to?
Yeah. I mean, if you think about the kids, like when I mentioned they're sort of 16 and 17, and I think about the fact that it was 5 years ago, and when they became tweens and kind of going through puberty, they were very disconnected from society. They didn't have normal experiences. I mean, it is true, even of kids who were a little bit older and going off to college, who were doing, all of their exams virtually. I think that's been tough. And at the same time, they've also, for the most part, lived in countries where governments have been so slow to regulate any type of social media access, and all of a sudden they've been subject to these algorithms of hate. So they've had sort of this really difficult period of time, and most of them have come out of it, I think, very sort of open and interested in actually building and designing a better future. Not all of them, but I think overwhelmingly for what they've dealt with, I feel pretty optimistic about that generation.
I think like looking at 16-year-olds, and a lot of 16-year-olds that I might have opportunity to engage with, talking to people's kids and stuff like that. I think to myself, yeah, this seems like a good idea. Because you're right. I think they are way more open, and they have way more access to information than I did when I was 16. And that's the only consideration, is I think that 16-year-olds that I've spoken to currently I think, yeah, these kids they're kind of up on things. That's pretty good. But then I think back to myself as a 16-year-old. I think, wow, I was an idiot. I was like totally reactive. Is that not an issue still? Or is it like, you know what I'm talking about? Like, how were you guys when you were 16?
But so are some adults. So like,
Yeah,
what's the
I know.
difference, right? Like let them, maybe giving that sense of responsibility to them for their future would be a good thing. I mean, when you think about it, like for provincial elections, at least, you know, we're voting on things like education and things that are going to impact them while they're still in school. Absolutely. Let them have a voice.
Yeah. Yeah, I also think a lot about that generation as well in terms of social media. And I think about all the adults that I know who spend so much time on X and other platforms arguing with each other in the comments. And I think for the most part, a lot of that generation, I mean, I think at least from what I hear, they tend to spend more time on TikTok. And there's not as much sort of back and forth kind of bullying and harassing that you see on some of these other social media platforms to the same extent, and maybe even better guardrails baked into TikTok. So, you know, I look at, you know, all of us are spending time on social media and on X in particular. And I see people kind of, and I do it too, like arguing as adults, like into the middle of the night. And I think it's our generation that's kind of doomed, right?
Two things. One is, there's stuff I've read previously about how when you're a teenager and you listen to music, you are experiencing it differently than you will when you're like 30 and older. Like you're hearing it differently. It's affecting your brain differently. It's dulled essentially. You're sort of almost like jaded. You're approaching it jaded already from the time you're 30 and older as you get up there, as opposed to your teen years. Is there maybe a benefit, do we think, do you think teenagers in general are more receptive to information so that they would maybe, it's really good for them to get involved in political stuff so they can be like, yeah, I really do think this is, their views might change, but they'd be like, I'm really passionate about this. I really do think I'm interested in this. Do you think there's a benefit that way?
Yeah, I mean, I think of
At least
I was trying to be, no, go ahead.
Oh, no. Sorry. The monitor's so far away. Like speaking of getting older, I can't see anything. So if you're like about to speak, I have no clue whatsoever.
All good. You go.
No. I was just going to say, I think, you know, when you think about that generation, I feel like, the music thing is really interesting to me because I've never heard that before, but, I feel like this generation, I think is, you know, I don't think they have as much hate in their hearts. And that's just a generalization. So Lisa, I'll throw it over to you, but I don't see that hate to the same extent that I see people who maybe, like you said, Stuart, get older and their views are more cemented, right? I see more of an openness and maybe love even amongst that generation.
I don't have 16-year-olds, but they can be awful. I mean, anybody can be awful. So I don't want to like, no, but like they can. You can't lie to me. I just think that the younger generation has the ability to look at things with new eyes and come up with potentially ideas that nobody else can think about. Nobody else has had you're not living in that moment to be able to say, I think this would apply to me and I think this would be beneficial. And for God's sakes, if we're letting them drive motor vehicles, let them vote, right? Let them vote. I think that would encourage, hopefully, a bigger sense of responsibility that they're going to get sooner than later, right? Because now I have this responsibility. I have to be accountable for a decision that I'm making. I think it's good. I think it would help the conversations at the dinner table too.
Yeah.
Right. So
it's also a little bit, I don't know if you guys, if you think back to the last election, I thought it was kind of weird because in the Liberal leadership convention, if you were 14, you could actually vote during that leadership race. And so my son, who, like I said, just turned 16, he actually ended up voting. So I'm thinking to myself, like, if they can vote in these leadership races in, you know, among the different parties, it feels to me like, okay, that's just opening up the floodgates to the potential of them being more involved. So to me, it makes sense. Like my son also volunteered for a woman running in our neighborhood. So he went and knocked on doors in the mornings and stuff. So I feel like they're savvy enough at 16 to do that, right?
Some.
Yeah. Again, if you'd known me when I was 16,
just sweaty.
Not so much.
I just feel
Not
like
so
you were
much.
sweaty at 16.
No, I wasn't sweaty. I was well dressed and turned out, but I was more concerned about hairspray than I was about anything else, I think, at the time.
Hairspray.
Yeah, well,
You
listen,
wanted
I
to
had
be a
amazing.
rock star.
I had amazing fringe at the time. Came down over my head. A nice bangs that came down. I could put them in my mouth if I wanted to.
Like flock of seagulls?
No, that's straight ahead. This is more of a Nick Rhodes, David Sylvian type
I
deal.
gotcha.
You know,
Okay.
like swoop to the side. You know what I mean? You're like cool.
The
Really,
early,
really
the
cool.
early emo.
Yeah, exactly.
Stuart, did you go to high school in Stratford? Like, are you from Stratford?
I thought the sentence was going to be, "Did you go to high school?"
At all.
Yes.
Did you graduate?
Yeah. No, I didn't. I did. I graduated from grade 12, and that's as far as I went in high school. That's it. I had 3 months of grade 13, my OACs, and my mom made me peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, packed me a lunch every single morning for that time. But I went to about 4 weeks of school, and then I would just get up in the morning, get my lunch that my mom had made me, and I'd leave at school time, go over to a friend's house, and we'd just like record music and write songs all day. And
Wow.
it took like 6
Badass.
months I know. Well, my mom was she was not happy
No.
about the fact that she had been getting up to make me school lunches, and I was just going over to a friend's house all the time. But listen, look what I've turned into.
Right? Yes.
A schmuck. So the other question I had actually was just as a quick aside is in relation to social media. Amber, you had mentioned that you felt that TikTok as a platform was a little kinder, and I'm paraphrasing, than other social media platforms. How do we feel about the current situation in Canada where the business activities of TikTok are being shut down, but the app is not? Just as either one of you for that. I mean, Lisa, you'll have opinions on this too.
Yeah. Lisa, feel free to go ahead because I cut you off. I don't want to lose any more points.
No, I mean, I don't control the points, my friend. That's all up to him.
It's currently tied 1-1, by the way.
1-1.
Okay.
I feel that's wrong. I think it's absolutely ridiculous. I think the federal government needs to take a look at this again because TikTok has the opportunity in Canada to make positive impact. I'd like to know what this whole like worry of espionage is because we've seen it elsewhere. So it's not like it's going to stop altogether, but I don't know why it's so hinged on the TikTok app. I think, we're looking at employment for people because they employ, what was it, like 350 people?
Yeah, a lot.
Right? Like it's significant, right? It's not just, I think people seem to view it as like this thing up in the sky. And it's like, no, there's actual people who go to work every day to do the things that they do so that we can enjoy the app. I think they also need to look at things like the creator fund that other countries have that we just don't even have an opportunity even remotely to get to.
Yeah.
And especially in this last election, the importance of things like social media, including TikTok, not only to encourage voting, but to put out the ideas and the platforms and all the things of all the parties. Like, I think it has benefit. I think they're just viewing it as a silly dance app. And I think that's just a little too narrow-minded. So I believe we're supposed to be sending emails to Madame Jolie to say, hey, give your head a shake. Not the worst thing that's happening these days. So
yeah,
that's my opinion.
Yeah, I would just say that I think it is a little bit concerning that you have people in the federal government who use X so prominently in every type of announcement that they're making, in all of their comms, and then at the same time decide to shut down TikTok's offices, while Elon Musk, who is basically in charge of designing a chatbot right now that is sort of openly hateful, violent, and racist, is behind that platform, right? So I think that the federal government has some questions to answer around their digital strategy. And one thing I will say is that I don't think it's ever really made sense. And I think it's probably a lack of awareness around what's really happening on these platforms and people who really understand the digital space. I think it's like throwing a spaghetti at a wall. Like, they come up with these ideas that don't really serve Canadians. What's going to happen when they close the TikTok office? Like, how is that going to protect us from potential espionage from China, for example, which is the big concern. That's not going to really help us. Like if you have an issue with the app itself, then be transparent about the issue, and then maybe you decide to block the app. Maybe you decide to do something that's similar to the U.S. is doing in terms of ownership based here in Canada. But shutting down the office, I think, is just totally performative, and there could be so much more done on that front. And at the same time that they do that, they should question themselves intensely about why they are still so dominant on X.
All good points. And I think, you're right. With shutting down the office, it was Francois Philippe Champagne who was in charge of the department, rather, when that happened. And it didn't make any sense to me whatsoever. And I remember actually, as a connected story, being invited to this event in Ottawa that Steve had gone to as well. Lisa hasn't gone to it. Politics in the Pen. She just hasn't gone to it. She wouldn't know what we're talking about.
I don't read.
She's not on a TikTok. She's not interested. But I was invited there as a guest of TikToks, and it's essentially as bait to get government people to come talk to TikTok, because the government policy head there, Steve Dare at TikTok, had said, we've been trying nonstop to talk to the government, anyone in government, and no one from government will meet with us. Nobody will meet with us. So we can't make the argument that, there's so many Canadians who are employed through TikTok and because of TikTok, who are benefiting from it, that are taxpayers, that there's a huge impact that TikTok has in Canada. So yeah, I agree in the sense that the shutting down the business operations just meant that all those arts funding things got canceled recently, where millions of dollars just stopped flowing. And it made no sense whatsoever. And performative is the right word. It just seems super, super, super silly to me.
And then at the same time, like, not to get totally distracted here, but at the same time, if you think back to the federal election, we know time and time again that there were advertisements done on Meta platforms from different groups that were spreading misinformation and disinformation because those ads were not vetted, right?
Yeah.
So to me, it's like, why are you shutting down the one place that I think in Canada hasn't had a negative effect on this country, unless there's reasons and things that we don't know. Then if there are, please be transparent. But then allowing the Mark Zuckerbergs and the Elon Musks of the world continue to control these algorithms that are dividing us and spreading hate and amplifying content and ads that are full of misinformation and disinformation. And you're profiting off of that. You want to shut someone down? Shut down Meta.
Yeah.
Yes, please. Yes, please. And thank you. Yeah, no, exactly. And you can't tell me that federal employees, like, I get it, they can't have it on their work phones, but you can't tell me that they don't have phones with TikTok on it, right? You can't tell me some of the ministers making decisions don't have TikTok on a phone. So I think it's just short-sighted. And I don't know if this just had to do with the worry about China and all these other things, but China's not our worry right now. Sorry.
Yeah. All I'm getting on TikTok is like carny thirst traps. Do you guys get those?
Without more telling than I wanted you to be. But that's fine. I think my biggest problem I had, and this is just before we finish talking about this, going to the third headline, is that throughout the pandemic, throughout any sort of big messaging that's happening, Canadian politicians, for their messaging on social, are using American platforms. They're putting messages out on X, on Instagram sometimes, but hardly. And some used to be using TikTok for the same thing. But it drove me nuts. And I hate the idea that we don't have a Canadian platform. And my whole thing of being a Canadian content creator was thinking back to when television networks were started. And Canada said, we can't just have everyone in Canada watching CBS and NBC. We need to have our own television networks because this is important for us as a communication tool. So Amber, you're kind of involved. I don't know if you can say anything, but you're kind of involved in this Canadian social media platform. I was contacted recently and had a meeting with a separate Canadian social media platform called A, which is launching in August. And it's more of a sort of I described it as like an early Facebook. It was very geographically based. So you could find out what's happening in Stratford. You could find out what's happening in Edmonton, and then people could chime in on all that kind of information. So it was a neat idea. Do you want to talk about your involvement with your platform at all? Can you?
Yeah, absolutely. So you probably heard about Gander that is launching this fall. There's been a lot of buzz about it over the past few weeks. I am involved with a few other people as an advisor and an investor in Gander. Gander is going to be a platform for Canadians by Canadians and built for exactly this issue that you're talking about, Stuart. So the launch date is planned in the fall at some point. I think this is a great idea. I also think it's great if there's other platforms for Canadians out there, to your point, right? We need more of that. And so, one of the reasons that I'm investing and advising is that I've spent so many years complaining about social media. And this is one of those years that I'm like, I can't go to these social platforms and keep complaining about all these things and not try to do anything to help. Yeah. So I'm trying to sort of take action where I can. And, it's just a small step, I think, of support. And I hope we do that more often. I don't want to, again, distract from the conversation, but I think this is true of Canadian podcasts too, right? Like, we look in the podcast stores in this country on the charts and like in the technology category where our show is, it's out of the top 100 podcasts, like 95 of them are American podcasts with huge budgets from major publishers. It's very hard for all of us as the independent creators to make our way into those charts. I think we also need something in podcasting that maybe sets us apart a little bit, because that's another, I think, missed opportunity too.
Well, I don't want to make you nervous, Amber, but this show is currently the number 2 podcast in all of Belize, by the way.
Did we hold that? Did we hold that this week?
We did drop to 30 briefly, but I think we're on the way up again.
In Belize?
That is like overall podcast?
Yeah, overall podcast. We were number 1 in news, which is,
people. Congratulations.
Thank you. People of Belize, though, they need to get their act together and get their news from actual sources. Don't get your news
But they get it. They get us.
They understand us.
Belize, we get you.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I like how you do this because you're teaching people, but it's in a fun way, right?
That's what I'm all about. Let's move over to the third headline, the final headline of this week's episode. Are you guys ready?
Yep.
We want to remind of the score. The score is tied at 1.
And I don't even have.
I'm not sure that's possible, to be honest.
I feel like that can't be because we've had 6.
I have been meticulously keeping score.
Okay.
It's hard when there's just like teenagers. That's hard.
Listen, the game isn't supposed to be easy.
Yeah, that's right. Don't.
If it was easy, it'd be it wouldn't even be a game. It would just be a giveaway. That's not what we're here for. We're here to learn. Next. All right. Third headline, please. Oh, look at that. That's pretty good, isn't it? Headline is Interstellar Visitor Causes PEI Landlord Issues Amidst Robo-Taxi Deployments. This is relevant to you, Amber, because you're in PEI. I'll say it again.
Oh, my God.
Interstellar Visitor Causes PEI Landlord Issues Amidst Robo-Taxi Deployments.
What are you saying? PEI land border?
Landlord.
Did you not read that news heading? Okay.
Sorry, it's my Southern Ontario accent.
Is the robo-taxis the driverless taxis?
Yeah. Keep going.
Launched, and I don't remember where. That's all.
Just give me a little bit more.
What do you need?
Just a little bit more.
What do you need?
Just a little bit more.
It makes them so uncomfortable. I love it.
What is the robo-taxi? What is the second word to the robo-taxi again?
Deployments.
Oh.
It didn't help at all.
Because you're very close, Lisa. The headline again is Interstellar Visitor Causes PEI Landlord Issues Amidst Robo-Taxi Deployments.
Are robo-taxi deployments from something to do with Musk in Austin, Texas?
I am going to not give you that. No. I'm going to give you that.
And then the PEI landlord issue is about a landlord who's been trying to get their tenants out of their.
That is correct. I'll give you a full point for that. There you go. Look at that.
I'm kind of here, so that's not really fair to Lisa. But
well, listen, everyone uses everything to their own advantage, right? Whatever strength you have works.
Fair.
You're correct. The PEI landlord issues story relates to, according to CBC News, PEI landlord Tamara DeVries is facing thousands of dollars in damages after problem tenants finally vacated her property in Wheatley River. DeVries initially believed she was renting to a family of 4, but discovered it was 2 adults and 10 children. who allegedly caused extensive damage and turned the basement into, quote, a greenhouse, which is probably a nice way of putting it. De Vries found knives jammed into door frames. Good Lord. A pervasive cat urine smell, a removed back door, and several truckloads of manure dumped on the lawn over her well. She expressed frustration with the lengthy eviction process, stating, quote, I don't ever wish this on anyone. I don't understand why everything takes so long.
You know what would have totally helped that?
What's that?
Don't be a landlord.
Oh, don't get us started about that. Don't even listen. You're talking to somebody who wishes he was a landlord and someone who is a landlord.
I know. I'm just saying. Just saying. I stand by my statement.
Well, that's fine. Keep up with your socialist agenda. You're absolutely correct, though, Amber. That is what the landlord issue is in PEI. So now we just got 2 news stories to get. Lisa, you've almost got the robo-taxi
I know.
story.
I can see the article, and I just can't. It's been a long week.
Would you like a multiple choice question?
Sure.
Yes.
Okay, here goes.
Yeah, she's getting into it now.
I'm into it. Now I'm figuring out how this game works.
Robo-taxi deployments refers to A, a local car sharing service introducing electric vehicles. B, Uber's major investment in an EV manufacturer to develop and deploy autonomous ride-sharing vehicles. Or C, a new video game featuring futuristic transportation.
B.
Lisa gets it. That's B. It's correct.
Yeah, it seems.
Well done. Well done. According to investor.uber.com, Uber, Lucid, and Nuro announced a partnership for, quote, next generation premium global robotaxi program, with Uber making a multi-$100 million investment. The program aims to deploy at least 20,000 Lucid Gravity SUVs equipped with Nuro Driver Level 4 autonomy over 6 years, starting in 2026. The first launch of this robotaxi service is anticipated for late next year in a major U.S. city, with vehicles to be exclusively available on the Uber platform. Uber CEO Dara, I don't know how to say the last name. Do you know the last name? Anyone know the last name?
No.
I can't say it properly.
Can you spell it?
It's Khosrowshahi. Khosrowshahi?
Could you go faster?
Sure. Khosw. Dara. We'll say Dara.
K.
Sorry, Dara. Dara probably gets paid well. Dara doesn't need my apologies. Yeah. Uber CEO Dara stated, quote, autonomous vehicles have enormous potential to transform our cities for the better through this collaboration. Would you, either of you, and have you taken a self-driving or autonomous car, a ride anywhere?
No, and never.
Wow.
Yeah, I have not. But I feel like I probably would. I mean, I don't know. It's a really good question. I think one of the things I think about all the time is, I've taken lots of Ubers in my life, and do I think it would be a safer experience in a robo-taxi? And the answer is probably yes. So.
Yeah, I agree. I know that I think I would be scared too, but I'm keen to. When Gregor was in Los Angeles, he had signed up a couple of years ago to Waymo, and Waymo are the autonomous taxis in a certain area of Los Angeles. And he made the list, and he was able to order one for a ride for him and his pal Simon, who were down there. And the video is just, every video I see of those autonomous rides is crazy, because it's just a regular car. And with the steering wheel, the driver's seat's empty and the wheels turning around and going left to right and stopping and all that kind of stuff. It's weird, but I think you're right. I think the more autonomous cars, maybe there'd be tipping point would be better.
Yeah, I mean, one of the things I think about all the time with all of these, is Lisa trying to talk?
No, Lisa is trying to hold in her emotions.
Lisa, go for it.
I just have a problem with AI, because that's what it is, taking employment away from humans. And so it's funny because I shouldn't say that. Like, I've always thought like Uber's sketch, but I never really gave it much thought until recently. And I think it's probably in the last, maybe it's longer, I don't know, but I've only noticed it in the last 6 months in Edmonton. We have a few taxi companies, obviously, who are not Uber, and their drivers obviously are feeling the impact of Uber.
Sure.
And so they have like on their cars now, like, shop local, keep money in Canada, all those kinds of things, which total respect for. But that's the thing, is that, things like Uber and now these, robot cars are going to take employment away from people. And so I'm not pro that.
Well, one of the things that I think about the taxi industry, and this is unique to Toronto, but I feel like they've kind of shot themselves in the foot, right? Like if you get off a train or the subway at Union Station in downtown Toronto and you walk up to the taxis, before they will actually allow you in their cars, they will ask you where you're going, and they will not take you if
They're not allowed
it's
to
not
do that.
far enough.
They're not supposed to.
Of course, that's all they do. I mean, I've done this a number of times, and
Yeah.
it happens all the time. So I think one of the issues I think is that, and people don't have recourse if they have an unsafe ride. So I think that Uber has built in at least a layer of security. I mean, this isn't really getting to the robo-taxi piece of it, but I can understand that shift that's happened on that front.
Yeah.
But Uber also no,
This
but
is
like
getting good.
But like Uber also has the ability, we just don't see it, right? So if you order an Uber or you order whatever through Uber, we don't know how many drivers are looking at it and going, not a long enough fare, not a long, like, you know what I mean?
Sure.
We get it faster because we're sitting wherever we're sitting and we're waiting for it. And don't they have that peak premium thing that they throw on to
like surge pricing.
Yeah,
pricing,
exactly,
yeah.
right? That you may not know about. Like I grew up being told don't get into cars with strangers. And now all we do is get into cars with strangers.
Yeah.
So I think it's sketch
Fair.
on the whole, right? So
The one thing is, though, I think that back to the robo-taxi piece of it, don't you guys think that a lot of these issues could be solved? Like, we don't even need more cars on the roads, really.
No.
I mean, that's just the truth. Like, we need to invest in public transportation.
Yeah.
We need to ensure that it's safe, that it is readily available, that it is affordable, if not free in some places. So to me, it feels like this layering on of all this technology, like, yes, I'd probably get in one because maybe, it would be interesting, or maybe I feel safer, whatever that might be. But really what I would like is for public transportation to work and to be readily available to the most amount of people at the most affordable prices. And that would solve all of these issues, because the last thing we need in most of our cities really is more cars.
true.
I agree.
True.
I totally agree. It was interesting when myself and Owen were working in the UK in March and April. We took a lot of Ubers and took a lot of black cabs, a lot of taxis as well. And the one thing I do like about Uber, which I feel it kind of speaks to what you were saying, Amber, is that and you get into a black cab. I love the fact I can get into a black cab in London and I can say, I'm going to this address, and they'll go, whereabouts? You'd be like, here's the cross section, like in New York. Here's the cross street.
Mhm.
Got it. Okay, good. And I know exactly where I'm going. Or you give the postcode. And they're like, I know where that is. Great. And I love that aspect. But apart from that, there is zero accountability except for the fact that I can watch where we're going on my phone. I know that if he's taking the stupidest route, I can say, why are you going this way when my phone says we can go this way? And it's never come to that whatsoever. But that accountability is kind of baked into Uber and their system. And I feel like I get into this cab, or this Uber rather, and there's a record of me getting into the car. There's a record of me being driven somewhere. There's a record of me what route I took. There's a record of me dropping off, and the whole journey is documented, which I like that idea. I
too,
really like
yeah.
that idea. There's like a safety to it.
And they have teen accounts. Full disclosure, I've actually worked with Uber in the past, so I just want to throw that out there. But they have teen accounts and they have accounts for families. So it's really good for seniors who can't drive and maybe don't want to call a taxi, and maybe they don't want to have the interaction of like explaining where they're going or nobody monitoring
Sure.
it. So I can go and order an Uber. When my mom was or is in Toronto and I want to get her from place to place, or she has appointments, and I can kind of manage that from my account. So I think there's a reason. Again, I think that they've done such a good job on the technology piece of it. So I get that part of it, but yeah, I mean, I certainly understand the displacement that is happening. Like to Lisa's point about AI, I think we're underestimating it in a significant way.
For sure. Well, let's move on to the final piece of the headline. Again, the headline was Interstellar Visitor Causes PEI Landlord Issues Amidst Robo-Taxi Deployments. We just finished talking about robo-taxi deployments. We know what the PEI landlord issue is. Now we need Interstellar Visitor, that portion of the story.
Did aliens come to visit? Did we have aliens come to visit?
Don't make me deduct a point, Lisa.
It was just a question. I didn't say it was related to this.
Do
Any
we
guesses?
lose points if we ask for multiple choice?
He makes it up on the fly.
No,
He
you
doesn't-
don't. No, you don't lose points at all. This is a totally fair
Okay, let's
operation.
do multiple choice.
Multiple choice. Interstellar Visitor refers to A, a new film about an alien invasion. B, astronomers capturing the first close-up image of a newly discovered object from outside our solar system? Or C, a foreign exchange student program?
B.
Lisa gets a point.
You got to
Pulls
snipe,
ahead.
Amber. You got to
know.
snipe.
Pulls
You know
ahead.
I'm cautious of not being certain, and it's really
That's never stopped
limiting my
Lisa.
progress. So,
According to CBC News Science, astronomers have captured the first detailed image of Comet 3I/Atlas, the third known interstellar object to visit our solar system. The image of the third known visit. I mean, surely it's happened a lot more than that. I guess that's why they said known, isn't it? The image was taken using the Gemini North Telescope in Hawaii, revealing the comet's compact coma, a cloud of gas and dust around its nucleus. This interstellar object is estimated to be roughly 20 kilometers in diameter, significantly larger than previous interstellar visitors. Paul Weigert, an astronomy professor at Western University, noted that 3I Atlas seems much like a comet from our own solar system, starting to gently turn into vapor in the light of our sun. So there you go. Look at that.
wow.
Isn't that exciting? We've
Yeah, and
learned so
I
much.
also we have, and I also kind of like hearing all three of them. Like I like hearing all three of the answers. Like I think it's really. I might need another try at this.
We might have you back. Let's go to the scoreboard and see where we're at. Amber burst into the lead and ended up with a commanding 2 points, but then was overcommanded by Lisa, who has 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's carry the 5 down. There's a negative in there as well. 3 points. Congratulations, Lisa. Congratulations, Lisa.
Congratulations, Lisa. You deserved it. You were so quick.
You were a good competitor. I liked it.
I like the sportsmanship between you guys. It's really good. It's nice.
Oh, are we supposed to fight more? Is that better?
Well,
We
it would
don't
have been
have a
good if you fought
history.
more during the show. It would have been good. I feel like the second time you come on, Amber, there'll be more fighting.
We'll fight.
Probably.
More
Talk-
fighting. Okay.
We'll talk about Ubers and landlords. It'll be great.
Exactly.
Oh yeah, let's do it.
Well, listen, thank you,
I might
everyone.
have to disqualify myself in both of those.
Thank you, everyone, for watching and or listening to Podcast is Broken. You can find us at brittlestar.com or podcastisbroken.ca or your favorite podcast platform. Amber, you have your very own podcast. What the hell is that all about? Where can people find that?
Yeah, super easy. You can get it wherever you get your podcast. It's called The Amber Mac Show, for lack of a better name. And it's in the technology category across all the podcast platforms. And then on SiriusXM channel 167 this week, Fridays at noon, usually a couple times on Saturday and Sunday, but also wherever you get your podcast and on YouTube as well.
Wow, you like the SiriusXM brag there? Satellite radio
Why
brag?
aren't we on Sirius?
I know. What the hell's
Get
wrong with
on it.
us?
You could
Dude.
be. This is a fun game.
I got to talk to my
Yeah.
union rep about
Yeah,
that.
exactly.
But we do appreciate being here. And Amber, don't go away, because this is just the end of the show for people who don't pay to be subscribers. This is just for the freebies. So
Okay.
Thank you for following the show. If you're a paid subscriber, stay tuned for our improvised theme song. Otherwise, see you next week. Take care.
Bye, everybody.
You can find past episodes and more at podcastisbroken.ca or your favorite podcast platform.